Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Shantonia and I am a qualified counsellor. I am a big fan of Disney. I love reading, I love art, the whole lot. And today I have two special guests with me, and we're going to be talking about social media and the ways in which it can affect our mental health positively and negatively, and ways in which we can use it in a good, positive light that doesn't impact us in a negative way. So girls, if you'd like to introduce yourselves really quickly, who you are and what you do.
Hi everyone, my name is Safi. I'm a designer and I work in tech, and a lot of my practice centers around how to create features that are holistic. And I also love art and filmmaking and photography. So yeah, that's me.
Thank you.
Hey guys, I'm Natalie. I am I guess, illustrator. I started my own business called Creative Banter. So I sell personalized prints and gifts and things like that. I studied animation. I also love photography, and yeah, just design in general and art, I guess.
Thank you so much. I have like a lot of photography arts going on. This is why we're friends. It's great. So yeah, to talk about social media, you know, it's crazy out there. I mean, I feel like people are using it a lot more because of COVID. And it's just out there, it's getting more developed. So I'm going to go to our first question. And that is, what is social media actually designed to do? Like, why do we think it's here and all that kind of stuff?
I think I don't know if anyone's seen The Social Dilemma on Netflix. I kind of recommend it, but anyway, it's a documentary, and it involves a lot of the people who started things like Facebook and Instagram, and I think like people had the intention to connect people.
Yeah.
And it was just basically that tool that could help you connect with people that you weren't around physically. But as we've seen it develop over the years, it's fleshed out and become this beast of a machine that kind of controls society as well in a way. And yeah, I guess we'll get onto other topics, but I think the initial plan was to connect people offline, but in the online space. Yeah.
It's amazing. Do you have something to say, Nat? No? Okay.
I think the tech queen said it all.
Yes.
That's a great.
Well, I'm just like, but watch the doc, guys. We'll watch it together at some point.
Okay, that sounds good.
I've heard it's deep, so
yeah. I mean, you told me about it, but I've not watched it yet, so maybe someday I'll get onto it. So if social media is supposed to kind of link us all together, to connect us together, keep the world kind of connected, be able to connect with our friends and family near and far, and it's just great for that kind of thing. But we hear often the term of, oh, I need to take a break on social media. I need to take a social media break. I'm deactivating my account. I'm doing this, doing that. Like, what is that all about? Like, why are we taking breaks? Why is it?
Personally, I think it can just be overwhelming. And sometimes things are great, but like if you have too much of it. So for example, if you had like unlimited pizza for a year, it sounds amazing, like, oh my days, yeah. But then if you're having this every day, every meal, it can sometimes get sickening, and it's just like, okay, like I just actually need to take a break. I know personally I've taken social media breaks and I felt so much better, and I'm just like, you know what, and it makes you realize you're not dependent on this one thing. And I guess I have really good friends who just gradually just took themselves out of social media, and now it's like, where are they? Like, if you don't have their number, you don't contact them, because it's like Facebook's gone, Instagram's gone, Twitter's gone, like, so, but they are really happy with that decision. So yeah,
definitely
sometimes breaks are needed.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I think it can just become really overwhelming to be on there a lot of the time, like when you're on there all the time, because you're just seeing everyone's highlight reels. Like, no one's posting the breakdown they had last week.
Yeah.
Like, no one's posting, and not that like we're entitled to see that, because we're not at all. But yeah, just to put the point out there that like we're just seeing highlight reels constantly. And when you come off social media, you kind of engage with everyday life and like your immediate family and circle and nature and the environment, and you just kind of realize like life is not this like polished Instagram profile that you scroll down. Like, there's so many different parts of it. It's like the good and the bad, and yeah.
100%. Like when I was researching this, it came up with an example, but it was of a study in 2020, because obviously social media has an effect on our mental health for some reason. And in this study, it was saying how people who deactivated their Facebook account for a month reported that they had lower depression and anxiety rates, as well as increases in happiness and life satisfaction. So I'm kind of wondering if when we're taking these social media breaks, it's for that reason, for us to feel a lot more better in ourselves, for us to feel less depressed, less anxious, and more happy.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. I don't know actually if it's experienced the same thing as well, but like definitely, like I came offline for like a week. I deactivated my account last week and came offline, and like any kind of anxiety just disappeared.
Wow.
I was just like it's really interesting. Yeah, you just feel more present as well.
Of course.
It's a lot of stimulation, just taking in so much content, and also you can't control what you see anymore. It's not like we're using the internet as a tool to find something. You can go on there at 7 a.m. and you're seeing like the maddest, anything that someone's posted, it's like impacting you, and I feel like that energy just can just sit on you.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think it's cool to detox.
You can be stuck in a rabbit hole as well.
Yeah.
With that, like you go there looking for something, and then you just find everything, and you're just like, whoa, okay, I'm sucked into this. Then 2 hours later, you're still on your phone scrolling on the same page, and it's like, wait, what? Like, what just happened? But I think as well with social media, like I know I've personally said to myself, like, I don't want to completely come away from it, because then I'll be separated from like everyone and everything and XYZ. But then I think something lockdown's teaching me is that I know who my like close people are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, you like to share your life with social media, and it's like, oh yeah, my friend's there, but my actual true friends are the ones that I can literally just pick up the phone and call.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't need, like I was saying to my friend the other day, or she was saying to me that sometimes like we post something about our lives, and I know I posted something and like people were kind of contacting me like, oh my days, like didn't know this, like, oh, why didn't you tell me? And it was like, wait, like no disrespect, but like if I wanted you to know, I would have told you. So then it was just interesting, like it's interesting to see. You don't need it. I don't need it.
And it's good to recognize that, like, when you do need it, because half of these people, they don't actually deserve to know you like that. Like, they don't deserve to know your deepest parts of you. And unfortunately, for some people, they do post everything on social media, and some people who are on there, they're not good for, like, they're not there for your well-being. They're just there just to see you fail or do something really bad, or just to see you fall. Like, they're not there to see your success and things like that. So I feel like protecting your space, like having boundaries in place with social media is so important. So you're not feeling like you're oversharing too much about yourself and getting judged on that. So a question, guys, how does social media impact a person's mental health? Like, we have things like anxiety, depression, the fear of missing out, FOMO, all that kind of stuff. I just found it was just interesting. Like, people feel as though when they see a post or, in a story, they feel as though they're missing out on life. So yeah, let's talk about that for a bit. FOMO.
I think like it's very easy to focus on what we lack in life sometimes, and seeing people posting things constantly can obviously kind of draw you into like Nat said, like you end up scrolling through someone's page for a time where you're just like, why am I here? Like, how did I get here? And yeah, I just think it can cause mental health issues because if you're just constantly seeing your lack and everyone else's highlight reels, there's obviously like this disconnect, and it's not actually reality. Like you can shift your perspective and see the things that you have and what there is in your life to be grateful for. But I think, just seeing a continual highlight stream of everyone's lives. Also, there was a quote I saw about how COVID has really made people aware that you can be sat next to someone and have a completely different life to them. And it's just like, I think that's what social media has done too. Like you're seeing Ellen DeGeneres in her house, like, oh, it feels like a prison in COVID. And you're like, wow, like, you know, people are really rich on there. Some people from all different classes are on there. And it's just very easy to compare, whereas like you would never have that access. Like when I was 14, you would just never know. You meet someone on the street, you speak to them like horizontally, have a conversation. But now it's like someone can just go online and see your whole life and everything. So I think it's just a lot of information. I think it's information overload, to be honest. But I think it depends on like the reason why we're using social media. Like I think our generation use it very differently. We used it very differently to the younger generation.
Yeah.
Like Gen Z, I don't know if that's below us, but I feel like because they've been brought up in the internet age, they know how to use it to market their skills and create a personal brand and make money and use it as a tool to like advance their careers in a way. But I remember when Instagram first dropped, it was more like, this is the photo album of my life and my friends. And now it's way more like, okay, how am I going to use this to build a business and make money? Like I'm seeing more young people use it like that, and so it's less personal,
right,
for some people. But yeah,
of course. Like when I was researching this up, it was basically saying how teens and us as young adults, we do experience FOMO, like the fear of missing out, a lot. And what FOMO basically is, for those of you who don't know, it's basically the anxiety of missing out on an experience. So for example, you know, your friend could be having a party and you see on social media, whether Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever, and you feel like, oh my goodness, they didn't invite me, I'm missing out on something. And you have that anxiety because you feel as though you should have been invited to that place. Yeah, it's crazy. Like I was searching, I was thinking like, what on earth is going on? And I even sometimes I feel like that, you know, you're scrolling through and thinking, oh, I'm missing out on this. And I feel like for teens, there's a lot more with parties and things, whereas us, our priority is a lot different. So probably see someone maybe go on holiday and we're stuck in England, just like, why are we not going? I want to go on holiday. It looks amazing. So you have that fear of missing out on the sun, the beach, good food, all that kind of stuff. And just an example. But yeah, it's maddening. It's just crazy. And
I'd kind of argue. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go on.
I was going to say, I'd kind of argue about our generation being different, maybe. Like, I think maybe we're not as saturated in it.
Yeah.
But from the kind of personal side of social media, and like not the business side, but like just trying to showcase you, I think it's hard because a lot of young people our age, when I go on social media, it's kind of like, oh, look at my life, living my best life, look at my life. And like, even you may know people aren't okay, but their social media says like, I'm having the greatest time, my life is amazing, like you should want what I have, kind of vibes. Even like it varies of things. It could be like, oh, you know, people our age have just bought their new house, so they're showing the whole social media like, this is my house, this is how much money I've made to buy this house, and XYZ. And like, it's not a bad thing, it's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
But then you can then feel like, okay, so I'm not living up to the standard I should. To relationship stuff like TikTok now, with all the challenges and all these random things that have just come out of nowhere, that people our age are also getting on the hype, like, and you're just like, okay, like, I'm not doing that. Like, everyone's now a dancer. Like, first it was a makeup artist, everyone was a makeup artist, now everyone's a dancer, like, and everyone's on the fitness hype, which is amazing. But now, like, we see everybody's bodies, do you know what I mean? And it's like, my summer body, quarantine body, XYZ. So I think there's just so many ways, like, we can feel FOMO, or we can just feel like we're not good enough, or we're not living up to the standard that we should from peers our age and things like that.
Definitely. I'm so glad you mentioned TikTok. I totally forgot about that social media. And people use it. I forgot that off the list. But yeah, like you said, it's just it's mad. Like, you know, like you said, your self-esteem just goes down, your self-worth, you just lose it. Even, I mean, I've written some notes here, like social comparison, that's huge. Because all you're doing is seeing someone's post and you're looking at their life just like, oh, they're doing this, they're doing that, I'm missing out, maybe I should do this. And the thing is, it gets to the point where, you know, you have an increase of anxiety and depression. There's an increase of a negative body image. So the thoughts like, I don't have the greatest body in the world. There's also possible sleep issues, and I researched this, and with the sleep issues, what happens is most of the times we're so caught up with social media where we're always having to be checking it in the nighttime, and we feel obliged to reply to that message, to check if that person's liked that picture or commented on that picture. And it gets to the point where people have insomnia, they just don't have a good sleeping pattern, and it just disrupts sleep completely. And there's also a lot of cyberbullying that goes on. And with cyberbullying comes suicide. The suicide rates are very high with that. Thing is, with cyberbullying, it gets to the point where you can't escape it. The suicide rates are much more high with cyberbullying than it is with face-to-face, because face-to-face you can kind of avoid the person, you can do everything you can to stop it, whereas cyberbullying, the internet's going all the time, it's an ongoing thing, so you can't escape it as easily. Especially like if your parents or guardians don't even know what's going on with you, it makes it a lot more harder for them to even help that person or that child. So yeah, like social media is just mad. And even with the whole connection of social media, there comes more opportunities for us to compare ourselves with people, with our peers, with people who we don't even know. So yeah, like social comparison, like let's talk about that for a bit. Like, it's crazy. We're always comparing ourselves. We feel like we're not good enough. Our low self-esteem, we have low confidence, low self-worth.
I don't think oh, go on that.
No, go ahead.
It's the lack. Well, basically, yeah, I think it's important to have space before you go on social media, or just having space away from it, to really get to know yourself and what you actually like and what you actually want in life. And that might be just like, you know, who do I feel connected to in this life? What things do I feel connected to? What things do I enjoy? Just being rooted in your own likes and wants, and without the eyes of everyone else, or the need to like find validation from everyone else, and just being around people that speak into you before being online. I feel like it's already it can be a negative space, and it can be like a rabbit hole that you just go down, where it's like, if you're feeling kind of bad about yourself anyway, and you're seeing all these other things, it's not really going to help you. Right. So I really recommend just like stepping away from all of that noise and spending time alone. And sometimes it's just like showing up for yourself with like journals and writing, and like sometimes being able to write down your thoughts in a book can like legitimize them. Like you're like, oh, I actually think this. Like this is who I am. Like this is what I stand for. This is what I'm thinking about today. Like when you write it down, it's like a real thing, and it's like you can actually acknowledge how you're feeling. Yeah, but I can understand that it's hard if you don't have that relationship yet, or if we're on that journey, which a lot of us are, to be on an online space all the time and have to like just see everyone else's lives at the same time as you're trying to rebuild your own foundation.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
sorry.
The lag is hilarious. I was gonna say that there's a song by one of my favorite artists, Jonathan McReynolds, and it's called "Comparison Kills." And like sometimes, like, I don't even know the full lyrics of that song, but like sometimes just that line, "Comparison Kills," comes into my head, because I'm like, you really need to stop comparing yourself to the people that you see. And whether it's your friend, like, and you know, like I know that I have friends who are insecure, but then I go on social media and I'm like, oh my days, you look perfect. But then I can ask them and they can say like, I took like 30 photos and I just felt horrible in all of them, but this is like the one I was confident to post. But I think for me, I think I'm starting to realize like, if I'm feeling slightly insecure or just like, I resort to social media, and it's awful. Like if I'm in a restaurant on my own, I feel so uncomfortable. I just resort to social media, but then that doesn't make you feel better. Like it doesn't actually make you feel better. And like Zaf said, you're just gonna go in a rabbit hole, and just start comparing yourself. And even if you can look us in the eye and say, you know, I'm not comparing myself, like I'm fine, but then I think sometimes if you just take time to reflect, you might be able to see that this has actually had an effect on you, whether it's you know, maybe you bought that outfit because you saw someone subconsciously, it looked great on them, you think this could look good on me, you know. So
yeah, I fully get that. Like, and I was thinking the other day, like, keep saying like, sorry, I was thinking that back in the day before social media was a thing, you would meet someone in life, you'd probably have an experience with them, you might become friends with them, you might just know them for like a couple months, a year or so, and sometimes, you know, people teach lessons and then you kind of move on with your life and you just continue. And like now we live in this era where once you say add me on Instagram, that person's in your life forever. Like there's no, I'm not saying you meet people and then you just discard them, but what I'm saying is like there are times, I do think some people come into your life for a reason and then you continue. And I feel like unless there's self-reflection to reflect on like who are my friends, who are my people, who triggers me, who doesn't trigger me, or whatever you want to call it, like sometimes you have to do that inventory online, and it's taken with offense, but do you understand what I'm trying to say? I think we now live in an era where once you're connected with someone, they're constantly like watching your life, and we've never ever lived like that before. We would just, everything would be more intentional. That makes sense?
Yeah. And I feel like even bouncing off that, it comes also with the self-comparison that self-presentation, we're always having to be looking our best. I mean, it's a digital world and we're always having to put in our digital selves out there, so the best of ourselves. And like you said, Nat, with the picture thing, I think I was reading this article of these girls, and they're very obviously like teenage girls, and most of the times what they do post a picture on social media, and if they don't get the likes that they're looking for, they'll take it down and put another one up until they get the most likes that they want. So with those likes, it comes that validation that like I am beautiful, I am okay, I'm a great person, those kind of things. And it's, yeah, like I said, for me, it's important that we actually do know ourselves before going to social media, because it can come to the point where social media does validate us as people, who we are and what we should be doing. And it comes into the play of the ideal self and the actual self. So it's basically the ideal self is let me definitely find it so I'm not messing it up, is basically how we would like to be. So the person of ourselves who we would like to be. So we'd like to be, I don't know, successful in life later on, or we'd like to, I don't know, like get that really great car. Our actual selves is who we actually are. So I'm Shantonia, I'm just finished uni, you know, I'm job hunting, like, do you know what I mean? Those kind of things, it brings you back down to reality. So it's nice to have an ideal of where you'd like to be, but then there's also a point where you need to be realistic into who you actually are and what your motives are into getting to where you want to be in life. It's not all for likes and things like that. It's important.
To be fair, that's a really good point, because like the term catfish, like that's just coming to mind, because my friend always jokes and she says I'm a catfish because apparently I look like I'm 15 when really I'm 24. And I'm like, okay, I'll take it. Like, you know, it is what it is. But so she calls me a reverse catfish. But I think social media is crazy because you can really present whoever you want on social media. Like, you know, I can be a model if I want to be on social media. And then you'll see me in real life. I ain't a model. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't even meet the height requirements. So like, but you won't know that because social media, I can tell you whatever I want to. And it's kind of studying animation, like we kind of learn the art of filmmaking and storytelling, and you make the audience feel what you want them to feel. So the music, the script, like even the camera angles, like the camera shots, like, and this is cartoons. Like, do you know what I mean? Right. Like, you make them feel what you want them to feel. Same with films and series and things like that. So translating that into social media, like we have the power, I guess, to make people feel what we want them to feel.
Of course.
And now saying that out loud, it's scary.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I can genuinely do what I want, and everybody does what they want on social media, and it's, yeah, it might not be as intentional as filmmaking, but it's there, you know?
Because, and it makes us have an unrealistic view about ourselves. That's the worst thing. And like you said, like not like the whole catfishing thing. We are actually one thing. Like, I could present myself as the biggest artist out there. I'm actually not. I'm actually an amateur. But you know your reality. You know that you're not that. But when you actually don't, it's crazy because you can get mixed up in the whole comparison thing, and then you wanting to be more than what you actually are, which is crazy. There's also a study done in 2014, and that study basically found that some people became depressed after spending time on Facebook because when they compared themselves with others, it made them feel really bad, which is crazy. And another study by the Royal Society for Public Health, I'll go into that in more detail a bit later, but that was done in 2017, and that found that Instagram is reported to be one of the most harmful social media platforms for young people and their mental health. Instagram. This is why I don't have it. I'm sorry. I mean, people are like, oh yeah, get Instagram. I know myself. I know that I'll lead myself down the whole depression, anxiety mode because I've been seeing people's stories who I don't even know most of the time. And the whole FOMO thing, fear of missing out, the anxiety of my life not being as amazing as theirs. You kind of have to know yourself to know which media platform you're going on and why you're going on it. So me personally, Instagram, I'm good. I'm okay. What are your views and thoughts on that?
I'm not surprised at all. I'm really not. Like, the whole thing is image based, so people always kind of joke and say Twitter is more real because people can just say it like it is, whereas Instagram, like, And obviously there's still downsides to Twitter, but on Instagram, I think before, even with celebrities and stuff, you'd see them on billboards and magazine covers and you'd feel kind of far removed from them. Like you might be like, oh, like this person's a really great role model and they have this glamorous life because I see them in the newspaper or magazine. And now it's like people are posting selfies when they wake up and you don't know if there's a glam squad or not, but it's like you woke up at 7 a.m. looking exactly like that. Like, and so your whole perception of reality is really skewed because you're seeing insight into everyone's lives all the time. And like Nat said, like, it's really easy to just create a whole persona based off it. I think that gap between like you seeing yourself in the mirror when you wake up in the morning and like what you put online, when there's a big gap between those two realities, I feel like that's just really detrimental to your mental health. Like, yeah, and yeah, it's just interesting. What do you guys think?
Of course.
I think bouncing off what you said. Sorry, go on.
No, go.
Bouncing off what Saf was saying, like, to be fair, even if, let's say, this celebrity woke up at 7 a.m. looking exactly like this, that's cool. But, like, I think there's just some things that we don't necessarily need to share with the world to say, like, oh, I woke up like this, you know? It's like, okay, cool. And now there's, like, 70 billion girls that are thinking, oh, I'm trash because I wake up looking normal. Like, just because there's one girl in the world that wakes up looking like, you know, she's naturally got makeup on. But I think growing up with Facebook, I see the difference between Facebook and Instagram, because Facebook back in the day used to be the plug. Like that was where we all were.
I remember that.
But then it's like, you think about it now, it's so long ago. Like you see your 2013 pictures just pouting like, yeah. And now you see like 13-year-olds that just look like grown women and you think, why are you on Instagram in a bikini? What's going on? But when I go on Facebook, I mainly see people's like life achievements, if that makes sense. Like I don't really see these videos that make me be like, oh, I'm so insecure. But I see like, okay, someone's had a baby, someone's got married, someone's engaged, someone's got a new job, someone's bought a house. Like these are kind of the things that I'm seeing, or someone's doing a charity work or XYZ. So I feel like for me, when I scroll on Facebook, I don't get stuck into this like, woe is me kind of thing. It's just like you flick and you're like, cool. It's just, I kind of feel like it's the same thing over and over again.
Of course. When
I go on Instagram, however, it's like a whole world of madness. And I'm like, why am I here? Like, I don't know. It's just, I feel like I'm just gone completely off the original question.
No.
But,
no. Right.
No, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Instagram's been just...
Like, even when you scroll to, like, Facebook, you're like, congratulations, that's amazing, that's great. Like you said, it's more life achievement.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. Whereas, like, with Instagram, I mean, even with that same... in 2017 with the Royal Society for Public Health study, it was basically saying that the number of likes for a post was seen as a measure of accomplishment and popularity on Instagram. So the more likes you get, the more comments you get, the more great you feel, the more popular you feel. You're thinking, oh, all these people love me, they like me. And so you're having to be putting out more content out there for you to get the same amount. And if you don't reach that kind of requirement, you then feel as though you failed because you didn't meet that requirement of likes for your post. Yes, Nat, go.
Yeah, I was sorry, I don't know why I put my hand up, but yeah, no, I think that is so true. And it's like sometimes you up your content, or like if I post, you know, a picture in joggers, just like, you know, this is me chilling, working, and it gets like, let's say 14 likes, then cool. But then if I post myself in like a dress that's maybe slightly risque, do you know what I mean? Like, and this is a different side to me that people haven't really seen. And then I get 100 likes. Which one do I want to post more of? Like, do I just be like, nah, sack the risque, let's just stick to the joggers and hoodie like usual. So then I think it's, and then you have to maintain that, because if you want to keep these 100+ likes, then it's like, okay, well, this is the things I'm going to have to start posting. So I think it's, it can be a slippery, just crazy slope that it's like, how do I even get out of this without just deleting everything?
Right. Like,
yeah. Oh, go on. I was just saying, like you said, it kind of pushes you towards this. I feel like you can get to a place where like I don't even know who I am anymore, because
right.
Like, am I posting? Why am I doing these things? Yeah, and I think it's like on Facebook, you're not gonna have. I know I keep saying celebrities, but I really feel like the presence of celebrities on Instagram having the same kind of profile as everyday people kind of determines the culture of Instagram. Like, you're not gonna go on Beyonce's Facebook and be like, "Wow, she had breakfast." Like, you know what I mean? That's your immediate kind of circle.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like on Instagram you have actors to your next door neighbor to like Barack Obama, like on the same platform. So I think that's what drives that culture of like I'm a somebody too. Like, we're all somebodies. Like, we'll all do nothing, and it's kind of it kind of skews reality. Obviously, we're all equal in value, but it can push you down that slope of like, why am I doing this thing?
Right.
Am I doing it for culture? Am I doing it because I want to do it? Like, yeah.
Like, it's so important that you mentioned, we're, there's no one better than anybody else. We're all the same.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's equality going on. And I feel like when we put people on a pedestal, that's another thing. Because then we feel as though we need to reach that pedestal, or I'm not good enough because I'm not doing X, Y, Z. So that's important. I kind of want to go back to the study that I found in 2017 with the Royal Health, whatever it was. And basically they did a study with 14 to 24-year-olds, and they surveyed 1,479 young people in the UK. And they basically asked questions based on their health and well-being. And they basically wanted to just find out more about the 5 most popular social media platforms out there. So that's Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Snapchat, and Instagram. And they basically put them in order of what's the most positive to the negative. So the positive bit of number 1 is YouTube, then it's Twitter, then Facebook is number 3, so that's like in the middle, in between. Then it goes down to the negative. 4th is Snapchat, and the 5th is Instagram. Surprise, surprise. And they basically said that Snapchat and Instagram, so 4 and 5, is basically related to FOMO, fear of missing out, sleep issues, and even cyberbullying, anxiety, depression, the lot. Whereas YouTube and Twitter, I probably add Facebook in there. I think Facebook's like in between, so can bounce from both. That's more on self-expression, self-identity, and community building, which is crazy. YouTube is good. Yay, YouTube, my channel.
Yeah, YouTube.
So that's what they found, which is interesting. So all these like young people basically said, Instagram's the worst, followed by Snapchat, and YouTube and Twitter are the most positive platforms out there. Now, I don't have Twitter, so I don't know what's going on there. I don't have Snapchat because I just know I'll spend my time looking at people's stories. I'm not about that. I have more important things to do. I don't have Instagram because it would just mess with my head. So I have Facebook, and I don't even use that often. So yeah, and obviously YouTube. So
yay.
So yeah, that study, I mean, I know it's done in 2017. It was a bit of a while ago, but I can imagine maybe
it's probably worse now.
Yeah, the rate's probably gone up now, for sure.
I think
and then TikTok added.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, TikTok's really big now. But yeah, I think because social media is basically here to stay. Like, there are loads of downsides, but I really don't think it's going away anytime soon. I feel like it's just thinking about how we can use it as a tool for ourselves instead of being used by it. I think that's the biggest question for, you know, a lot of young people, because like we spoke about, like having these breaks and knowing what you want to get out of it, like, or what you want it to be for you. I think YouTube's really great because you can literally use it as a tool. You can jump on there and you know what you want to watch. Like, and even the recommended suggestions is like, okay, I know I want to find out about this. I know I want to watch this video. I want to learn how to cook this. Like, you have that control, whereas all the other platforms is completely subject to, whatever you see and like what's been posted in a way.
Yeah. I mean, I know Facebook has the little thing where you can unfollow people even though you're friends. You can unfollow them, so you have that feature as well, which is interesting. So if you're seeing someone and they're kind of triggering you, having, you know, you get in the depressive modes or anxiety, you can easily just unfollow them, which is great for that. I'm not sure if Instagram or any of the others have the same thing, but I thought that was useful for that kind of purpose.
You can definitely you can unfollow people on Instagram. I think when you're stuck in that rabbit hole, you don't want to unfollow them because it's like, I want to see what they're posting.
Yeah.
But I think, like Saf said, with YouTube, you search for what you want.
Yeah.
You're done. And like, it will bring up suggestions, but unless you're like, oh, I just want to binge watch videos, most of the time you're just like, I'm just going to go search, find, go off it. But I think with Instagram, they're clever because the search, like if you're ever wanting to search for anyone or something, the search is on the like explore page. So you'll go to search for something and you'll see all these other videos, which you're kind of like, it's not something you wanted to search for, but it's there. So you'll just find everything, whether it's food or outfits or, you know, like weddings, or it all just will come up. So
definitely
it's a bit weird.
I think another thing is like with this whole skewed reality thing is because the algorithms now, like you can just end up in an echo chamber of the same people that think the same as you on these apps, especially Instagram. So you'll go on it and it'll figure out what you like and it'll just show you more of it. And whereas if this didn't exist, you would probably just be meeting people that have different views than you. It's really great to meet like-minded people and to feel seen by content, but like when you're just constantly in this massive echo chamber of your own thoughts that are being bounced back, and then you get into the real world and suddenly someone has a completely different opinion, I feel like it doesn't prepare us for meeting people with empathy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, some people don't believe in the humanity of other people, which is a different conversation with racism and stuff. But do you know what I mean? It's like, I think it can change the way you see life. Like I thought with the elections, I definitely thought Labour were going to win. Like I was so sure because every single person on my feed was voting Labour. Everything I saw online was Labour.
Wow.
And then when you actually looked at the scores, they lost the election. And loads of other people felt the same way. Like it's like my view of life was so different to reality. I was just like, so
it's like really, social media bubble. That's why I'm kind of hearing like a social media bubble. Then when that bubble gets popped and you're back into society, it's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know. I'm just
what's going on?
Yeah, you're just struggling. You're like, okay, this is new. That's new. Okay, it's crazy. There's this thing, that about on the internet that apparently CBT therapists use, and it's called like the 5 systems, and it's by Williams and Garland's 2002. Anyone want to check that out? That's knock yourself out. But they've done it in relation to social media and how that affects us. So in the middle, there's like situation, and the situation is looking at social media and comparing yourself with others. Then, because of that situation, you then have your thought processes, which is interesting. So your thoughts probably are like, other people are better than me, and people are having a better time than me, and other people look better than I do. Then you have your feelings. So the feelings probably low self-esteem, low self-confidence, depression, anxiety, sadness, and possibly even envy, which you can even look at like envy, like people feeling jealous of other people and wanting the life other people have because you don't. Then you have the behavior, which is avoiding other people, increased time on social media. So you're always on there. And that leads to having a poor sleep pattern because you're always wanting to see who's liked your post, who's commented, and I need to reply to this person, and I need to reply to that person because I feel obliged. And your boundaries are just totally, just gone. And you have your physical sensations as well. So you have sleeplessness, which is like insomnia, lower energy. And it says something about stomach pains, but I don't know how true that is. I don't know. Maybe you're feeling anxious, and I don't know. Maybe that I just having stomach issues. Maybe I don't know. But yeah, like those are like the 5 systems of how people may feel when they're on social media, and that all stems from looking at it and spending time on it. So I know we've looked at how it affects our mental health. I want to kind of look at now, just really quick, how we can use it positively. How can we navigate ourselves on social media, and how can we use it in a positive light? Any tips you can give us?
I think like one thing that's really helped me was to kind of set a boundary with it, like when I go on it.
Yeah,
I know I'm more sensitive like when I just wake up and when I get into bed.
Yes.
And so I really just like definitely keep those parts of my days social media free. Like the first couple of hours when I'm up in the morning, I don't really look at it. And then before I go to bed at night, I just try and reflect a bit more, read a book or something. Just knowing when you're more susceptible to be like impacted by it, I guess.
Of course.
Yeah, just setting boundaries really helped me. Trying to think of some others.
Setting boundaries is important, like you said, knowing the times and when you want to go on social media, and basically like self-discipline, setting the times like, no, I'm not going to go on social media for 3 hours. I'm going to maybe go in there for like 20 minutes, half an hour, if that, and do something else with my time, something positive, something different, and that's going to help me with your mental health.
I think maybe as well, we're not necessarily saying don't have social media, delete everything, like disconnect yourself, like it's all bad, because it can be a very positive tool. So like Saf was saying before, like you can get in touch with a community of people that are like you. So if you're an artist, you can share your art there. I know I've gotten some like illustration work from people on Instagram, so it's a good way to get your work out there. If you're a musician, same thing. It's good for businesses, and even just spreading positivity yourself. Like I know Shan on WhatsApp, like on her WhatsApp stories, always used to share these like just images and like text and just things that are really positive. And I know my sister was like, she loved them. She was like, oh my day, Shan, you need to send me these because like these are getting me through. So the little things that you do, you may think it's pointless, but just even sharing a positive message on your Instagram, or I know for myself, like I'm a part of a team called the Common Room, and we just sometimes talk about like taboo topics and sharing our stories and things like that. And I shared my story about my journey of insecurity. And you know, it's a vulnerable place to be. Like, you feel really vulnerable, like, I'm sharing my life with the world. But then I thought, you know what, let me just on Instagram put a snippet of this, because some people may not want to watch the video, but they may need to hear this little snippet. So I put that on Instagram, and then from that, people went to watch the video and hear my story, and like, they were like, thank you so much for sharing this, because I've been feeling like this. And it feels like no one else is talking about it, no one else is feeling this way. So yeah, like, not saying you need to put your whole life out there and expose yourself, but if you're confident, and if you know you've been through something that someone else may have been through, and they need to hear something that will get them through, why not be that person on social media?
Yeah, that's important, like business and learning. I think it's also important to note that social media, like we all said, it's not all doom and gloom, and it doesn't necessarily trigger off your mental health into depression, anxiety. Sometimes a person could be depressed or anxious beforehand, and then going on social media actually enhances that. It just makes it a lot more worse. It does sometimes actually create that in us, that depression, anxiety, like we mentioned before, but it doesn't necessarily do that all the time. So that's important to note. So if you know that you're on a social media platform, it's making you feel a lot more worse, maybe it's a good tip to maybe disconnect yourself and find something else that's more that's not going to impact you any more than it already is. I mean, I use Pinterest. Nobody uses Pinterest. Pinterest is amazing.
Pinterest is like really good.
Pinterest, yeah, it's like underrated. People should start using Pinterest.
It's awesome.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else? Any other tips, guys? Any lasting thoughts?
Yeah. It's similar to what Nat said, but like on the receiving end, being someone who needs to hear something that's encouraging. I'd made like an account, and I just followed like people in the wellness space who were just keeping it real, therapists, like Black history stuff, like, and I realized when I just followed these accounts that were more like information based, it was also just like, it completely changed my experience of Instagram, because I was just like engaging with things I wanted to learn and hear more about. And I think it's so good I see a lot of therapists online that are basically like breaking down all these barriers and making it more accessible for people who can't afford therapy. And I think that's amazing. Like, people just sharing their stories and being open. Like, we talk about specific parts of social media with like influencers and people sharing their lives, but there are also other parts of it that are filled with like people just sharing really useful information, and maybe it's worth looking at it from that perspective and like just tapping into those accounts or something like that.
Definitely. Thank you. Any lasting thoughts, Nat? Any words of advice?
I feel like I'm the worst person to give advice, but I guess just echoing what you guys said, like, know yourself, and don't be afraid to admit to yourself that it's a struggle. Don't care what people are going to think. You know, if you all of a sudden for a week don't respond to them on Instagram, or you've not posted any content or anything, don't care what they're going to say, don't care what they're going to think. Most of the time people don't care. People, like, unless you've got stalker friends or just stalker people in general, nobody really cares that you haven't posted in 4 days.
Right.
So don't be afraid to take that time for you. And if you don't know yourself, definitely take that time to get to know yourself, know your triggers, and I guess try a little social media detox for a day, for half a day, and see if you feel any better.
Definitely. Thank you. Lasting thoughts for me, if you're feeling depressed, anxious, and you feel as if you're getting bullied, if you feel as though you're suicidal, definitely talk to a therapist. It's so important to talk to somebody, talk to a professional, because we can help you. We are here to help you, and we want you to feel better. We want you to have the best mental health you can have possible. So definitely reach out to someone. Find a therapist, find someone to talk to you. Like we said, try a detox. You know, definitely find what your triggers are. Journal if you need to, like Saf mentioned earlier, journaling is helpful. I mean, I don't do it because I'm really bad with it, but if it works for you, journal. Yeah, do something else, do something positive, share some positivity with people, and that's, you know, it will help you have a better life, a lot of better mental health. So thank you so much, girls, for joining me on this talk. It's been amazing.
Thanks for having us.
It's been great. And I'll have you guys back on again for sure. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel, and please share it with people who you know. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.